Hello, welcome back to another video, and today we have the explanation for the 6x6 cave trapdoor, which is smallest, unless you go with flush layout, which is 8, so no one will probably do until someone will do it, but like not now, not me. So there's a bunch of cool stuff in it, so I'm just going to show you it. This was initially supposed to be an edited video, so there's all these circuit separations, so I thought, why not use that? So the basic layout is, well, as you expect, triples, doubles, more doubles on the side, singles, and then redstone block doubles. Like I already said in the showcase video, I managed to cut 2 slices by removing the need for this piston. When this does this on the closing, this one was used in Xordan's initial version to make this 2-tick to 1-tick that one. That is part of Orange now. So I found this neat circuit where you give this 3-tick and this 4-tick a 1-tick. And you can see that just does it for me. And yeah, that's on all sides. We have a 3 and a 4-tick. As you can see, half of them get budded. These happen simultaneously, so this being budded gets updated from this, so it doesn't matter. Same on this side. And then you will also notice that there is suspiciously 3 dust here. I will get to these 3 dust later. The reason this side doesn't have one is because it's right here. So these blocks always have a dust, and I will get to that later. So the next thing that happens on the closing is these dual piston extenders extend. This piston is there to update this piston. So you see the block power buds this piston, and when the block unpowers, it updates the piston head right here, and that causes the piston head down here to realize it's no longer powered, and that then does the retraction. The reason that this piston is here is on the opening. Actually, this piston can't extend on the tick it gets powered, but it can extend on the next tick. So I'm using this 1-tick repeater to power this piston, to then update this piston to extend. And yeah, after this happens, and then obviously like the double happens, putting the redstone block here, all that's left is to power this, and we have a full triple extension. And the way that happens is with magenta. So magenta is just connected to the main wire in brown, and after 8 ticks, this piston, this drop hopper gets fired, powering. So the triple is right here. So it powers the lower pistons of that and the top pistons of the double simultaneously, so that's the full extension, which is really just a pulse into orange and then firing this, because as you can see right here, magenta also powers green, so lime would be right here, right here, and then the 2-tick thing you saw back there. So that's also the reason why I didn't put that here, is because this 3-tick repeater, as you saw in green there, right there on the middle, powers the center piston on the retraction, and that means there's no way to power this block. So I had to lift it up and give this a bud. And yeah, same thing on the other side. This side gets the delay also from brown, goes into here, and well, this part handles both sides. So this powers green, this powers green. This is interesting. So this powers green as well on some delay. So you notice here we have like what, 8 ticks. Meanwhile, since brown just goes down here, I should probably show that over here. Meanwhile, you can see here it goes 1 tick, and then these 5, and then the 4 below. And here we have 4, 4, and 4. While here we are missing, what we are missing is 6 ticks. So this is just instant, and then this is 2 ticks, and then this is 3 ticks, and then this is another 3 ticks, and then this is the last tick into right there. So that's how this side works. And this dropper will always fire. It's not locational because the repeater points into the dropper, and as Space taught me, the dropper the repeater points to will always fire first, and then this will always fire after that, and the item gets stuck in this hopper because we are hard powering the dropper next to it. So as you can see, after the delay, the item gets trapped in here. And yeah, on the other side, you just come off the input line and have some delay again, and then this. So yeah, that's the closing. And then for the opening, well, I guess this is the side. The sides are literally just like, this is the double, and then, oh my god, it extends. And then if you pulse it, oh my god, it retracts. But yeah, simple stuff, right? So yeah, for the first part of the retraction, so that's light blue. I will show that back over here. We have a we have these two tick repeaters after yellow, which still hard power green. So when green turns off, when so when these turn off, this green will ensure ignore that. So when this turns off, it will ensure that this piston grabs that redstone block because it's on a 2-tick delay. So that makes it so that the redstone block gets retracted automatically after the closing. And then also, while the redstone block double piston extender is retracting, so we are in this state, which is why that repeater for the last for the middle piston is a 3-tick and not a 2-tick, as it could be, or 1-tick even. So while we are still here, but when we are in this state, this thing will release the item which is being held inside this dropper, and it will extend this while this retracts. And when this retracts, we are in this state now. And in this state, all we need is to fire this one, and then, well, do this again basically, but with this piston this time. And then we're done with the triple, and that's like all of the triples. So the algorithm I found is literally just orange, and then turn on magenta. And then for the release is the 2-tick, an extra pulse, and then dark blue. Oh boy, dark blue. On the other side, so here we have this weird dropper box. Meanwhile, on the other side, we just have a torch with a drop hopper attached to it. This is obviously like self-explanatory. Meanwhile, this dropper box I can explain over here again. So this dropper box is here because we have the brown input line going across. Conveniently, a double torched input block gets over this. Otherwise, you'd have to place a piston like in one of these slots with a cauldron, and that would mess up all the timings. So we have this dropper box here because you can see we have no, like, we can't place a dropper here facing that way because there's an input block. So what this dropper box does is every dropper fires basically. Order doesn't matter. So this one is empty, this one has an item, and this one has an item. So when you turn it on, this does nothing. This item gets trapped into here, and this item gets trapped into this hopper. When you release it, this item from here will just go into here and reset. And the item which gets released by light blue at the appropriate time with this repeater will travel through this hopper, powering these comparators to power this light blue, which was the back piston input, which I just explained to you. So that one. And after that, it's important that these are unstackable unstackable items because we have a signal strength of 1 here. That's important. That's also why these are 3 comparators, because we need 3 ticks of delay in here. But also, we can't put a repeater because then if this gets fired, we just create a clock with this repeater, and we don't want that. So that's why these are 3 comparators in a row, which seem kind of random. And then the item goes into here and fires dark blue, which resets the item back into that one. So basically we just have 2 items cycling through a 3-station dropper line. And yeah. And then dark blue happens. And then dark blue happens. So dark blue. Oh boy, dark blue. Dark blue is insane. So what dark blue does is what I showed you here when we were in this state. Dark blue does the double piston extension of the redstone blocks. So dark blue extends these and then powers this while this retracts. So the way you do that is different on all 4 corners. So you can see here with this dropper box, we just take the input from the dropper, which is 3 ticks after this comparator, after this hopper, right? And run it through a 2-tick, which then extends this, obviously, obviously these are missing. But you get the idea, right? So we put an item in here, which then powers the double piston extender for 6 ticks, because well, this turns on, then it extends, but then this has to turn off, and then the double piston extender turns off. And yeah, so after that, where's the item? The item is in there. So yeah, then this retracts, and then this comparator will do some magic. On the other side, this gets powered by the light blue, which has a dot right here, which comes from these. So these power, well, just this 1-tick repeater. And then that powers both the back and the front at 2 ticks, because we only have a 3-tick signal from a 3-tick long signal from this hopper. And if you give this a 3-tick, not with that. If you give this a 3-tick, it won't do anything, because this is off by the time the back turns on. So I power both the front and the back simultaneously to allow a 3-tick to actually do something, as you can see. And then of course the retraction is missing, so yeah, you know. So that's the double piston extension here. And then over here we have, well, this is the exact same as over here. We just power both the front and the back simultaneously. Here we actually do it a tick earlier, because this is 3-tick instead of a 1-tick. Anyways, it's not symmetrical, but like, you know, this is the strap chest just for redirecting a dot. I can show you that over there. And here we just have a, this gets pulsed by this dropper. So this dropper gives off a 3-tick going into this 1-tick, going both into this 2-tick and this comparator. So this 2-tick turns on the piston, and 1-tick later this comparator turns on, which then does the front extension. But yeah, so this is also just like a double, as you can see. And then yeah, so basically we have 4 different ways to power the doubles again. And then you wonder how we get these ticks, and that's why these that's where these comparators and this dropper mess around the doubles come in. So remember these orange dots with dusts, which I pointed out that there's a dust next to each of these corners. Those dusts are right here. 3 of them have it here, 1 of them has it here. Actually, this one has it here, and then this one has it here, and then this one also has it here, but then I think this one has it here. So the reason for that is when we do the closing. So first off, you can see this 3-tick repeater from the orange again, and then there was this 4-tick repeater going into the triple. So these 3-tick repeaters sit nicely within this hopper shell. Mess bullshit. This is green. Oh, this is lime. This is the double piston extender. This is green and lime. This is dark blue, and then this is orange. I will show you that on the original actually. So right here, you can see how this like fits in perfectly. So the lime sits on top of this, and then there's this dropper next to this dust, and then this 3-tick repeater is sitting right in there. Oh god, was that a 3-tick? I think that was a 3-tick. Actually no, that was a 1-tick. Yeah. And same over here. That fits nicely in there. So what do we have here? We have 2 dropper stations. We have a dropper at the bottom and a dropper at the other bottom. When we fire, the orange will put the item from the up-facing dropper into this hopper, obviously, and this hopper is not locked on any of them. So the item will get stuck in above the back double piston extender piston in this hopper, which is powered by lime. And then when lime retracts for the double, the item gets trapped by the redstone block. The redstone block right here. So the item is now stuck in there. And you can see as soon as we push this out, the item will go into this hopper. But there's a dust on top of this. Another reason why this is lifted. But it's not mandatory, it's mainly this reason, because, you know. This dust actually locks the hopper again. So when we do the extension of this, like so, you can see the item stays inside here. And now when we release this dot, the item will be free to go into that hopper, which happens instantly, and the piston also turns off instantly because of the updating. And then after, what, one tick, the comparator will turn on, powering the back piston. And, yeah, because of some tick shenanigans, this will still be here when that happens, and this retracts, everything is done. And then when this also retracts, it powers this dropper, resetting the item back into there. I hope that made sense. So item gets pushed up from this into, well, gets trapped in this station. And then when it turns off, it briefly gets stuck in this. And I broke something. Perfect. Oh, I broke this. Yeah. And then as you can see, it got trapped in here and then powered this and then... Ah, nice. So if I show that one more time, the item goes up there, gets trapped in here, and then gets pushed down. And this is like so amazing that it fits perfectly with orange and like such a small space that I actually reused it on the next trapdoor, which is 6x6 funnel, because you can also use it there, and on the 8x8 funnel, which I'm currently working on. But shh. So yeah, the fact that this fits in like so nicely with the orange, and it does basically everything, is kind of neat. Some people call it dropper hopper magic. I just call it like, okay, we have a double piston extender, let's just encase the shit in hoppers and hope for the best. And yeah, and then there's dark gray. Dark gray is just the closing of the side pistons. So as you saw with cyan, if we power cyan and don't do anything, we get the extension, and then on the retraction we get nothing. And then what dark gray does is when we are in this state, which we are right now, which we are right now. As you can see there, we are in this split out state where it's still open and nothing is retracted. If we power dark gray, which is different on both sides, so over here we have a hopper falling edge. So if we power this, with a not dot, the hopper will be locked by the dust, and if we turn this off a tick later, the torch will turn on, allowing this hopper to pulse the item through once. And then, because this is a 3-tick repeater, this gives the 3-tick pulse, and so we give the back pistons a 3-tick. And while this turns off, so 1 tick after this turns off, this turns back on, so due to this 4-tick repeater. So this is on for 3 ticks, off for 1, these retract, and then on again for 4 ticks. And what that does is, well, it basically does this. So these pistons retract first, and then realize, oh, I'm powered, shit. And then these realize, oh, I'm powered, shit, but these are already extended, so they can't grab. And yeah, so the way we do that here is with a hopper falling edge, which you don't see every day. And how do we do it here? We do it with a comparator locking itself. So this gets a 4-tick from, yet again, this dropper. And what this does is the same. So this gets a 4-tick, this is on for 4 ticks, but it locks itself after 2 again, or 3 because of the negate. So after 3 ticks, so 2 plus negate and then this again, so it gives out a 3-tick again. Hooray! We've used a hopper falling edge and a comparator lock signal length shortener in the same door. And as you can see, this comes from the quote-unquote front corner, and this comes from the back corner, which is why this shit is so unsync, it's unbelievable. And then brown is just an input line doing everything, you know. So what happens is, from the input, it goes through this dropper box into magenta, powering everything on the front half, and into orange down here, and into cyan on the side here. You can see that the signal goes from the front into the left half. And the final signal, which is literally the last thing that happens in this door, comes from the left, right there. You can see how this doesn't travel down this slab, which is why this is the 2-tick and this not, because this needs a 2-tick in order to, when the 3-tick comes, to not fire the front piston. Meanwhile, here the signal doesn't even reach. So this slab prevents the opening signal from looping back around and firing everything again. And then it also fires orange here, which doesn't matter at that point. And then on the other side, the signal travels into the single, into that stuff. Here's the hopper monostable, and as you can see, there's no way to generate a 3-tick here other than a hopper monostable. You can't even go for the comparator negate like over there. And then the signal travels through cyan into both oranges, and well, through magenta into this double piston extender, and then signal just goes through here into this side's magenta. And as you can see, there's no way to generate this pulse on this side either, because reasons. Because of this line. Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. You can see that just powered because of that. Yeah, so the signal comes through here, does everything here. So the reason we can generate this in this corner is because this corner is free. Because this is all the delay we need for magenta. Meanwhile, here we need these 4 ticks, and then also this line, and we have to power this from somewhere, right? We can't move this piston. We can't put that here. So we can't generate the tick rolls in here, so we generate it here, which just happens to fit a hopper clock perfectly. So as last time, this is like the only air block in this quadrant besides, well, these two, but like that's the only interior air block in this, and it's insane because look how perfectly this hopper thing fits here. And then the line goes under it, but at the same time this corner is just so Craigasm if you know how redstone works. It's like so mwah. And then this is just a dropper box, I guess. Well, air blocks above here, of course, but like this is kind of empty right here. And then, well, in here is also no air block, not a single one, because well, everything is used in here as well. And then this corner actually has a bunch of air because there's nothing in it. You can see there's nothing up here. There's so much air. And this half in general, because we don't have the input line, there's so much room up here. It's actually like, it's sad, but yeah, you can't have a density of like 98 on every door, so this is just a 96 density. And you can see that the side is like a lot simpler with just like 2 droppers compared to a dropper box and whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, I think I went over everything that was to go over. Remember this orange, magenta, light blue, dark blue algorithm? You will see it a lot in the future. Because, well, it just does everything for you. You just, oh yeah, that's about it. Just do that, and then you extend that, and then power this, and then you're done. And then you retract that. While this is retracting, you power the back one. And then you extend this again. And while this is retracting, you power that one with the dark blue hoppers, which are like so lol and nice. And yeah, that's like everything there's to talk about, hopefully. Hopefully there aren't any questions. So yeah, thank you for watching. There is a Twitter in the description. You should follow me there. You will get notified of all the uploads I do and all the new doors. This door has been done for around like 1.5 months now, and I just never got around to make videos. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, please.